I'm moving on pretty quickly. Self-harm. Now there was quite a lot of surprise at the idea of self-harm being as great as it is. 13% of 15 and 16-year-olds have self-harmed. 3 times more girls than boys. And that is a really fascinating fact, and one I just want you to bear in mind for a moment. Why the big gender imbalance? Self-harm, cutting, and these other things, it's not an illness, but it is a behaviour. It's a response to overwhelming emotional pain. And everybody in this room has experienced emotional pain. Quite often one can relieve it by various ways, or get help to relieve it, or talk, or whatever, and it releases it. But sometimes it's difficult to relieve. And I want to tell you a very brief story about somebody called Rose, who I came across almost a year last November, so sort of 16 months ago. When Barney died, girls used to turn up in the evening to check that I was okay, or so they thought. What they actually did was come and sit down and tell me about how awful their lives were. And one time 2 of them were there, and they said they were very worried about their friend who was cutting her legs every night really badly, and that she wouldn't tell anybody, and that even if she did, nobody would believe her. So I thought, oh, well, yeah, we need to get this sorted out. You know, why don't you try and get her down here? Oh, she'll never come down here. Anyway, a week later, these 2 turned up, and in their wake came Rose. Rose was a Year 10 girl, who was the most perfect Year 10 girl you could imagine. She was the cleverest, the funniest, the prettiest, the sportiest, the everythingest. She was absolutely lovely in every way. She had lovely parents who she was very fond of, they were fond of her. I said to her, Rose, I'm gobsmacked. And you've been cutting your legs? Yes, I have. Why? Do you mind asking me? Because I'm really fascinated. Can you explain why? It'd be really helpful. And she explained that she felt always in the limelight. She said, every time you handed me back a piece of my English, you'd read a bit out to the class. Every time I do a hockey practice, I'm the one that has to demonstrate the penalty corners. Every time there's a play, the senior pupils want me to audition for the top part. Every time I go home, my parents want to help celebrate my success. I want to be invisible. I want to be seen as normal. I want to be out of the limelight. I want people to see that I'm not perfect. And I said, okay, I can just about get that, but why cut yourself? How does that make it better? And she said, it's like being on the bottom of a swimming pool and holding your breath. And you hold your breath, and you hold your breath, and your lungs get tighter. And you think, how much longer am I going to be able to stay here? And you get more and more tense as you hold your breath, and your lungs start burning, and eventually you push up, burst through the top of the water and go, and you have this feeling of relief and release. So that's what it's like. I said, wow, well, then what? And she said, well, I can go to sleep. And I said, in the morning? She said, in the morning I get up, look at myself in the mirror, see what I've done, and I feel disgusted with myself, and the whole process starts over again. Now, the point of me telling you that story is the fact that Rose had everything. And she would probably will be head of school. She probably will be captain of hockey. She probably will get the main part in the play. She is now fine because she eventually allowed her friends to go and tell another member of staff who she trusted, and gradually the whole thing got sorted out. And people are now are not putting her in the limelight and the spotlight all the time, and therefore she is feeling much more relaxed. But the point is, just because somebody is captain of hockey, or head of school, or a scholar, or going to get Oxbridge Place, doesn't mean to say they're not incapable of suffering emotional pain. Your job, our job, is to help people who are suffering emotional pain to find ways of releasing it without self-harming.